Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a closer look at Invincible Volume 1. It says, Mark Grayson is just like most everyone else his age. He's a senior at a normal American high school. He has a crappy part-time job after school and weekends. He likes girls quite a bit, but quite doesn't understand them. He enjoys hanging out with his friends and sleeping late on Saturdays, at least until the good cartoons come on. The only difference between Mark and everyone else his age is that his father is the most powerful superhero on the planet, and as of late he seems to be inheriting superpowers. This collects issues 1 through 13 of Invincible. So let's take a closer look at the book itself, and then we'll come back and discuss my thoughts a bit further. All these books have the same look to them. They've got the sort of graphic on the front, somewhat trying to show you what's going to go on in that book. We've got the colour down the side with a number on it, which accents around the whole book. So we've got the red for the 1 and for the image here, and then also we've got a red strip down the back for our main kind of synopsis for the book. It says here rated teen plus, and is a superhero story collection volume 1. There are a little bit more about the creators on the inside here. And then the book itself is a fairly simple sort of black wrapped hardcover. So it does say Invincible kind of indented, it's quite hard to see, and then we've got that on the side of the book as well. So very subtle when you compare that to the dust jacket. They're complete opposites. If we spread the book out overall, just to have a check of the binding first. So it lifts up fairly well and is a sewn bind overall, so it's been fairly reasonable to spread out and read. We get an introduction here overall by Bendis, and then we jump straight into our story. The art in this first maybe 4 or 5 issues isn't as good as the rest of the book, in my opinion. The general overall kind of look is very similar, but I just find that when things get smaller, he gets kind of lazy and does like pin dot eyes and things, and it just doesn't look as good as it gets kind of later on. So I'm glad that this was the first art and we moved away from it rather than moving to it. Try to see if I can find any of those just dot eyes anywhere. But as I say, the art does get really simple. I mean, you look here, it's literally just a box with a tiny bit of shade on it for her top. I'm trying to watch I don't go too far here to show you guys the kind of pivotal point of things. Here we go, here's a bit here where they've just got literally, as I say, dots for eyes. And I just didn't really like that, especially when they're showing it like as distance here. So like she's got normal looking eyes and then they've got dots, and it's just like, what? So I didn't really like that. I'm going to skip forward a chunk so that, as I say, we don't see the kind of pivotal change in things. And then, as I say, this art is a bit better going forward, the tail end of the book, and I think that's the main artist going forward. And then at the back we've got some sketch work, so original concepts for costumes, how that kind of changed over time. It's really interesting to have a bit of a read through this, because I had no idea where any of these concepts came from and what the original kind of looks were, so I find that kind of cool. And some of the sketches and ideas never really made their way into the book, so it's interesting to read the kind of progress here. And this is not a section I normally look at in a lot of these books, but in this particular case it was really interesting, so definitely worth checking out some of this various kind of initial ideas, proposals, how things kind of changed and things over time. And yeah, just general characters and things. See if you agree with some of the choices they made as well. It's interesting to see how that kind of goes. And they have this concept around a further kind of character or show that Invincible's into, which they were thinking of potentially spinning off and doing his own kind of comic. So potentially we could even have that down the line. So this will give you a bit of a heads up as to what that could entail. And then some more script stuff and various kind of covers and things at the back as well. So quite a bit of extra material in this one. If you look here, you can see it's actually kind of coloured red. So that is a significant, maybe fifth of the book is actually extra material, which is quite cool. As I'll probably say in all these videos, I'm not really impressed by the overall just basic black cover, but in some ways I actually do prefer that, because if I have to slap this in a backpack and it's not got any kind of graphic or anything to get scratched up, then I'm going to worry about it a lot less like this than I would if it's got a nice kind of picture or something across it. I wasn't really sure how I was going to review these books, considering I've only got the first 6 so far, and they are quite a quick read through, but then quite a lot happens in each book, so I just wasn't really sure how to kind of go about that. So I'm going to just do them one book at a time, like I've been doing with the Turtles or any of these other longer runs, and if you guys want to skip through them quicker, that's up to you guys, but I'm going to go through all the books just one at a time. So this book starts like a lot of rip-off superhero books where you've got a lot of characters that look like knockoffs of the other kind of characters out there. You've got a Green Lantern, you've got a Batman, you've got a Superman, you've got a so on and so forth. And to be honest, for the first half of this book, I was almost going to be like, you know what? I've been told this is awesome, but I don't want to be another parody book. I'm not interested. Alongside that, sort of copied superhero story, we have our origin of Grayson, who is our main kind of, protagonist of this story. He's growing up, going to school, and as it says in the back of the book, he has a part-time job, and he's only just discovering that he has powers. Now, I've seen a few other people's reviews that they're saying that, they don't really have to care about the secret identity so much, and they're not really reactive to the fact that he has superpowers. I kind of saw that completely differently, so I don't know where they're getting that impression from. He's trying to do the superpowers thing himself and has been told from a very young age that he would get these superpowers, so he's been expecting this for a long time, and he wakes up in the middle of the night and decides to just kind of try to see if he can kind of fly, and he jumps off the edge of the kind of the roof or something and kind of figures that out. And the first thing he does then is try and make up some kind of costume to hide who he is. And then when his dad sees that costume, his dad takes him to like the costume maker for superheroes and gets a costume made for him. So that's literally one of the first arcs that they do with him getting powers, is making sure his identity is hidden. So I don't know where people got that impression from, but I wanted to just address that straight off the bat. The identity hiding thing is just as important in this book as anything else. We then get an arc where something happens and Grayson's whole world is basically flipped on its head, and his dad explains to him why he's really on Earth and the goals of their people and what he kind of ultimately wants them to do now that he has powers. I don't want to spoil that kind of side of things, but Grayson goes against it and his dad goes away for now, and we basically have Grayson's now story of him going through high school, meeting a few other kind of superheroes, dealing with, again, which people can and can't know his secret identity, and just kind of establishing that kind of starting point of him. That's where this book kind of stops, and we're just kind of getting to know Grayson, and we basically haven't seen his dad for a while. It's a fun book, and at that point I was like, you know what, actually I've quite enjoyed these couple of twists and turns so far. If we have that in the first book, who knows what we're going to get by the time we kind of get further in. And as I say, I'm not going to spoil any of the specifics that kind of happen. This book is very visual, very brutal, no character is safe as far as kind of getting to survive or not get hurt. So, just want to put that out there. This is a very, very interesting story, but for me, that first, as I say, maybe half of the book was a little bit disorientating until I understood what the reason for that was, to kind of set the tone to go against. So really interesting, really enjoyed it. I can't really recommend this book enough. And even if you're not going to read on, it's probably worth checking out the Volume 1 Deluxe, is it called Deluxe? Sorry, Ultimate Edition. Because, see, they're reasonably cheap, and if you enjoy his writing from other things, you're probably going to enjoy this as well. So, yeah, just a fun book overall. As I say, I'm probably going to do these books, you know, maybe even a couple of months, just depending on how quickly I kind of get through these, but there'll be as separate videos just kind of giving you guys my impressions and how I've kind of enjoyed it. It might be a little bit shorter because I don't really want to, as I say, spoil the absolute specifics of any kind of arcs or changes, but I guess we'll just, you know, see how that goes. So, as always guys, rate this video if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends if you think they'd like to know a little bit more about this particular book, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you guys next time.